Yes, everyone, this is Forever United TV. We are live on this Friday morning. Massive window for Manchester United. Benjamin Sesko is going to be the third signing of the summer today. He's going to have his medical at Carrington. Obviously, he's going to sign his contract and then be unveiled tomorrow, as we know that. How do Manchester United make their next signings? Well, we all know we need to sign players. Need to sell players, sorry. We've got massive updates on Garnacho this morning and Rasmus Hojlund. They're the big two talking points as well today, as another midfield target in case Baleba does not happen. I'm not putting you off Baleba. I'm not saying we're not going to try and sign him and get him, but just in case, Manchester United do have a plan B, so we are going to talk about that as well. But it is all focused now on Sesko signing today and United raising funds. That's what every single Manchester United fan knows. And just checking through all of social media and everything this morning, again, it is a buzz with Manchester United fans. It is actually a really happy place at the moment. Honestly, I haven't seen it like this for a while. Everyone just excited for the game tomorrow now, the unveiling. Obviously, we cannot forget about the two other players we've brought in as well. It's their first outing on the Old Trafford turf as well. So big day for Benjamin Sesko, but let's not forget about Matthias Cunha and both Brian Mbeumo together as well. For stepping out onto that Old Trafford turf in front of the Old Trafford faithful tomorrow. It's going to be a big day for United, and I think now, if there wasn't a complete sellout, there is definitely a complete sellout now. Massive. What team gets sellouts like this in pre-season like Manchester United do, honestly? Another 70+ thousands just for another friendly. David De Gea's back as well. Everything seems good. Everything seems organised. Now, there is the horrible stuff that we still have to get through, which is getting rid of players, and that is probably the most important part now. We've said all along, and I've said this, I said the biggest judgment will be for Ineos in selling the players that Manchester United don't want. It's easy to buy a player. United have masses of money. We know this. I think we proved it this summer, even when our so-called owner says that we are going to go bankrupt in December if we don't get rid of staff members, but then all of a sudden we go and spend a fortune. Now, United getting rid of players that we know aren't good enough is one thing. United getting rid of players that we know the club don't want and every other club knows we don't want is another level again. But Garnacho and Rasmus look like they're the two that are out of the door next. On Rasmus, first of all, the news came, and if you didn't see it late last night, it was late, it came from Italy. But obviously we know from what Romano said last night as well, and this was kind of into the late evening, but not too late, so everyone might have seen this. If not, what Romano said was Manchester United are holding meetings as we speak to discuss Rasmus Hojlund's future now that Benjamin Sesko is secured. This was always the point. If Sesko gets officially announced, then the talk moves to Rasmus Hojlund. We don't like it. We don't think that we should have just one striker. If there's an injury to Sesko, we're in trouble. I get all of them comments, but we did say last night, if it meant getting Baleba in for Manchester United, would you let Rasmus Hojlund go? I think the majority of the vote on that was yes, we will get rid of Rasmus Hojlund if it means bringing in Carlos Baleba. So when you look at the situation as it is now, Rasmus does not want to go. That's been made very clear by him and his representation. He wants to fight for his place. Romano said this as well last night. But Rasmus Hojlund on loan, I mean, I've mentioned this before. This works as a win-win for both, because I know it's not going to sound nice for Rasmus Hojlund right now, but if you told him it was still officially a Manchester United player, but he's going to go away and get game time elsewhere to prove that he can be the striker that Manchester United could use possibly next summer, and we won't have to go out and buy another striker next summer, we're just bringing Rasmus back. Win-win. Manchester United are looking to move Rasmus Hojlund on whichever way they can. If someone comes in with 40 million, they're going to go. Some people have even said 30 million. There's varying reports at the moment. I think the latest one has come from Simon Stone from the BBC, which is that it's 40 million that Manchester United will accept, or it's probably going to be a loan for Rasmus Hojlund. Now, last night, Damasio came out and said that AC Milan are in touch with Manchester United over a potential loan. United would prefer to sell. Now, if you're Rasmus Hojlund at this point, Manchester United are going to prefer to sell you rather than loan you. Where is your head at? Like, clearly he reads the papers. Well, not so much the papers anymore, but you know what I mean. He sees the stories online. He sees all of the reports. He sees all of the journalists in and around Manchester United. Every single one of them, by the way, that he knows and has spoken to at different times in mixed zones and in press conferences. He knows all of the faces. He'll know who they represent, what broadcasters and what publications they are. Every single one of them has said exactly the same thing. Moving Rasmus Hojlund on this summer. He knows. He's not stupid. He knows that Manchester United are looking to move him on. But last night, last night, the attempts to sign Rasmus Hojlund, or what's been reported as attempts to sign Rasmus Hojlund from AC Milan, are that they want to take him on loan with a possible option to buy at the end of it, as in next summer. So, when you look at that, how does that work for Manchester United? Well, let's just calculate it down. Rasmus Hojlund approximately on what? I think it's on around about £4 to £5 million a year in wages. Milan would cover that. And that's set. Obviously, we know United would only loan him out if someone covered his wages. So it's not too much money. Approximately 80 grand a week or somewhere around there, Rasmus Hojlund's on at the moment. So he's not costing the club a lot in wages. So that's easy to cover. So that's why these clubs are wanting to take Rasmus Hojlund, because he is a raw talent with an actual record in Serie A, so that would work well for AC Milan also. But on this and the other reports on it is there will be a hefty loan fee. How much that is, I don't know, but this would tell me that obviously there would be some form of option to buy Rasmus Hojlund at the end, as well as this loan fee. So you calculate it both together. If United want 40 million, then there would be some form of 10 million loan fee, and then 30 million option or obligation at the end of the loan. This would still work for Manchester United, because 10 million in the bank account is good profit, and you've still got the player, and you've got his wages off the books. So you could calculate it at 10 million in a loan fee. It may even be more. Manchester United might even try and get more than 10 million for Rasmus Hojlund. But it goes into what we've already made and the money that Manchester United are generating, plus an option next summer, or even just to bring Rasmus Hojlund back at Manchester United's call if he actually smashes it in Italy. So you don't know. So maybe 15 million worth of finances for Manchester United available after this actual season is done and this financial year ends, from Rasmus Hojlund just going on loan. And then maybe he comes back a better player. Maybe we've got an option to bring him back in as another striker next summer. And we don't have to panic buy him. We can stick to the original plan, which is probably going to be other areas of the pitch. I honestly don't think Manchester United's summer after next season is going to be anywhere near what this one is. They're trying to get business done now while they can and while they can afford it. And I think this is the ultimate plan. I don't think United really have got an opportunity like we've got now to get the players that we are getting and can still get, and we're not going to have that next summer, I don't think. And I think this is very common knowledge in Manchester United because of the lack of money that's going to be there next year. So realistically, taking what we can for Rasmus now is probably the stance that Manchester United are looking at. I feel like Rasmus Hojlund, again, if you asked him, he's just going to say it straight. It's going to come down to Manchester United. Rasmus wants to stay. United need to tell him he's out the door. They need to force him out of the football club. They need to be ruthless if they want him out. Look, we don't want this to happen. We want players to obviously come through who are young and then get better and better. But he's had 2 years. This is what we cannot forget. Rasmus, as much as he has improved over the summer, is still not doing it in the Premier League, and you just don't know. We could be sat here after the window shuts and not bought a striker and still have Rasmus, and we're going, oh, we should have sold him. As soon as the big stuff happens and the big games come around, we get the same old results. This is how you judge a player from the Premier League and the big competitions, not a pre-season. If you're going off pre-season, then you're always going to come unstuck. It's like Arsenal have had a shocker of a pre-season. Absolutely terrible with everything preparation-wise and results. But you know on the opening day, that doesn't matter. They're just going to hit the ground running, and you know it will. It'll be a very tough game for United against Arsenal. And nobody's kidding themselves as to what's coming to town and what we're going to be up against. So pre-season is pre-season. It's about getting match fit. It's about building relationships, and it's about getting an understanding of a system and working hard in preparation for the upcoming season. That's it. Form goes out of the window as soon as you start the season. Everybody knows this. We've seen it before. So don't get carried away by what Rasmus has done this summer, is what I'm saying. And Manchester United need to make the decision that, yeah, may upset a few people right now, but later down into the season, a lot of them fans will be like, actually, we did make a good call here. Thank God we've now got Benjamin Sesko in, so the option is there to do with Rasmus what we want. I think that's the important thing right now. We're not thinking about Rasmus surviving or selling him on the last minute to try and bring a striker in. We've gone out, we've got the striker we want, we've got one of the top targets again, and he's in. It's done. Now we can deal with Rasmus separately. This wouldn't have happened before with Manchester United. We'd have been scratching our heads going into the last week of the window. Who can we get in on loan as a desperate signing now, just to actually make sure that we've got that position covered, because we're not convinced. Like 3 games into the season and Rasmus doesn't score and he's still doing what he did last season. Everyone's in panic mode. Not anymore. This is where Manchester United are at right now. You say, Sesko, we might not get rid of Rasmus Hojlund straight away, right before next week. It might be at the end of the window. But you could probably look 3 games in and go, well, Rasmus hardly featured here. We need to get rid of him. This is probably where Manchester United's thinking is. That's what I feel right now anyway, with Rasmus Hojlund in particular. It's going to come down to how much he features in these first few games. I don't think he's going to feature a lot. Now that Sesko's in and he's got a full week of training ahead of him, I think there's a chance, there's a slim chance that he might start against Arsenal. I've said I think he'll be on the bench before, but medical in today, done. He's going to be unveiled tomorrow. And then you've got a full week of training to assess, judge where he's at, get him integrated in. There's a good chance that he could start the game against Arsenal now, I feel, as well. I'm sort of moving towards it as well. He's kept himself fit. He hasn't done a Victor Gyökeres anyway, let's just say that. This tiny little jab there at Arsenal just before the game next week. But yeah, you see what I mean though. It's like United's preparation compared to Arsenal's is night and day. It looks a lot better for us. But forget about that when we open up on a week on Sunday at Old Trafford. It'll be a different game altogether. Anyway, let's get into all of your comments and let's see what's happening here, where we at with Rasmus Hojlund in particular right now. You know now, and if I told you now that this is going to come down to Manchester United actually using Rasmus Hojlund's sale to bring in somebody really good that we desperately need, where are you at? Red Smith United is all over the Super Chats at the moment. He's also dropped in 5 memberships as well. Thank you very much, buddy. Please do make sure that you put a big thank you in there for Red Smith if you have received one of them memberships. Good evening from Australia, he says. I can't wait for the match tomorrow. Finally feeling positive for the start of the season for the first time in years. Glory, glory, Man United. He also comes back with that and says, let's loan him, Rasmus that is, to Newcastle. Don't kill them. They're already down and out. So this will finish them off with things like this. The fact that they are in a battle to sign Nicholas Jackson tells you how poorly their summer has gone at Newcastle. Disastrous for them, absolutely disastrous. You don't sell a striker to strengthen the midfield. We keep Rasmus and get Baleba. We can have it all. Worst case, loan Rasmus. Oh no, well, you do need to sell a striker. You do need to move a striker on if it means bringing in the best in class. That's the only time I would say that's when that needs to happen, mate. It does need to happen on that side of things. Rasmus will have to go if Manchester United need to raise any sort of revenue to bring in somebody else. This is just the cutthroat nature of where Manchester United are at right now, I feel, and what we need to do. So yes, it is really important that we do actually look at this in a way where it's like, right, okay, is he going to get the right amount of game time for United? No. Can we get somebody else in if he goes that's going to play week in, week out? Yes. And unfortunately in football, sometimes you have to forget about the player. You have to look at the whole team and you have to commit to doing what's right. And that is trying to find that midfielder. United have put full trust in Ruben Amorim wanting that forward line that he's got. We've got it. We've got it done and we've got it done before the start of the season. That was massive. And at the moment, everybody's buzzing with that. This changes the fan base's perspective and the whole look of this new season if we bring in someone like Baleba. That would be off the scale for Manchester United and would, I think, completely turn every single Manchester United fan's hopes around for the season. It would sell tickets, it would fill Old Trafford, it would pack it out. Entertainment should be coming back. That's on Ruben Amorim and where he will be, well, he will be judged next season as well now that these players are in. You've got absolute world-class operators in your side now, all over the park. And just not forget, like the bonus of the signings from last summer, which were all good, all coming up now and actually getting better. Second season in. Let's see what second season syndrome does for Lenny Yoro and his development. Aidan Heaven, Patrick Dorgu, Mazraoui as well, De Ligt. All of these last season had massive, massive moments for Manchester United. And you've got them in their second season now, getting comfortable and actually feeling part of this project. The future is looking very good when you look at the age and the average age of Manchester United's team as well now. We're not clinging on. You're looking at probably Harry Maguire and Casemiro, the elder statesman. You could argue Bruno, but he is just turning 30. So, again, positivity all over the place looking into this. And massive pressure on Ruben. I'm going to keep saying this now because he has now got what he's needed. If you give him the midfielder, there's zero excuse. Zero excuse for Ruben Amorim now. And judgment will be made. Let's not forget about Toby Collier as well. He will be loaned out by Manchester United. Potential sale for next summer there, maybe. Because I think United will invest more in that midfield after this season. Because I think there will be a decision made on also on Bruno Fernandes going into the new summer. Let's get some more comments in. Chris says he would have been a squad. He won't be a squad player at any top 6 of the European giant clubs. Next summer, he'll go to Liverpool to replace McAllister, who is going to Real Madrid. Well, they're in talks to actually put McAllister onto a new contract now, and apparently that is close, mate. So, yeah, that might not be the case. Cal says, sell Rasmus for the sole reason he's garbage. Forget out extra strikers. We have Obe and Cunha and Bruno and Bumo who can do a better job than him. It's a valid point. Will them players do better than Rasmus? There's times last season when Chidol's actually done better than Rasmus Hojlund and has shown more potential than Rasmus. So, again, he's not fully developed. He's only 17. So it is worrying. Like, are we just being a little bit sentimental here again? And this is the one thing that we said we shouldn't be going into this summer. If there was ever a cutthroat summer, it's off the back of our worst ever Premier League season. So no Manchester United fan should be worried or concerned or thinking it's the wrong decision to get rid of any player. I'm fair in saying that. There are certain ones you would look at and go, no, you can't budge because they have actually performed. Bruno, Yoro, Ahmad, players like this, De Ligt, I think Mazraoui as well. There's a few others in there, like the players that came in mid-season, Heaven, Dorgu. You could argue for a lot of the players, it doesn't really matter. Would you lose sleep over any Man United player leaving the club off the back of our worst ever Premier League season? You're not going to lose any sleep, are you? You're not. But Rasmus Hojlund, for me, I think could be key. I think the deal happens if it's a loan. I don't think anyone's going to buy Rasmus Hojlund. AC Milan are front runners right now, and Manchester United are actually open to the idea that Rasmus can leave on loan. That's the story, but with a loan fee. Depending on how much, and the report says it's a hefty loan fee. So, Damasio has reported that Manchester United are in talks with AC Milan. United now going full on into moving Rasmus Hojlund on after securing Benjamin Sesko. And he's going to be used as funds, or we're going to use the funds to obviously invest back into the midfield, which is next. Not the goalkeeper, it's going to be the midfielder. That's it. The goalkeeper in this window now is the bonus, which is concerning on its own because of who we've got in goal for us. I'm not even going to go into that one this morning. I'm going to stay positive. It's Sesko day. It's positive day. It's everything happening day. But Rasmus, I think loan works. Go and prove yourself. If you want to prove that you are a Manchester United player, Rasmus, go and smash it in another country for another club and show us that you can do it. Let's not forget, you will be playing over in AC Milan. You will be playing as the main striker. Wherever you go, obviously Manchester United would, if he's going to be loaned, would have to make sure that he's going to be getting game time. There will be certain clauses, bonuses and penalties within this loan. Say, for instance, he doesn't feature in a certain amount of games, AC Milan will have to pay another fee. This is what was the deal with Antony. Fortunately for Betis, Antony played near enough every single game. So loans are not the end of the world. It gives us room in the squad, and it also gives us money on top. Like I just said, you're saving all of Rasmus's wages, so that helps to the financial year. And you're probably taking a minimum, 10 million loan fee. That goes into the likes of what we've saved from Marcus Rashford. And all of a sudden, you're up to about 29 million for loaning out Rashford and loaning out Rasmus Hojlund saved. that is more than enough to get things moving with Carlos Baleba. And then we move on to Alejandro Garnacho. And this is the biggest one of all. Now we've got more people in the room. We'll get on to Garnacho and we'll get talking about him, because last night Romano did the one thing that everybody needs to look out for when it comes to sales and it comes to transfers possibly happening. Romano on the 3rd of August said that no deal imminent. Talks with Chelsea and Manchester United are now moving on to the next stage. I cannot see this happening. Romano has now retweeted that last night. Now that's code for get yourselves ready. Something is going to happen. He also said in the tweet on the 3rd of August that it's going to come down to the actual fee that Chelsea offer Manchester United, what United will take. We heard last night, and we did talk about it on the show last night, that the Telegraph were reporting that United have said it's 50 million or nothing for Garnacho. Chelsea are not even in the equation unless they come forward with 50 bags. So that's the value of Manchester United have got on Garnacho. How close can we get to that? But back to Romano and what he said. He said also last night on a video on Gimme Sport where he said that he cannot see this deal not going through. It's going to happen. I've seen Simon Stone this morning. Eventually, finally, it looks like the inevitable is about to happen, which is Garnacho leaves Manchester United and leaves for Chelsea. The reports were in January that Garnacho wanted Chelsea then. They've continued into this summer, and it now looks like this is going to get finalised. We just don't know what the fee is yet, but the code and the little cryptic tweet from Fabrizio Romano is definitely what you should be looking at right now. He does this all of the time. He goes back to one of his previous tweets where he started about the talks and things happening and potentially coming around. And now we're pretty much, what are we now, another 4 or 5 days on from that tweet, and he has retweeted it. It looks like talks, from what Ornstein said last night, have moved and have been happening for the last 2 weeks, coinciding with what Romano said in his previous tweet, and now advanced. And then Romano puts a retweet on that after Ornstein says advanced. And Romano also said last night, like I said a minute ago, that he can't see this not happening now. This is now getting close. Something is about to drop on Garnacho. And I think by the end of next week, before the start of the season, I think we're going to have a big update on Garnacho. We could even get something this weekend. I think Chelsea are probably looking to get full preparation ahead of the start of the season. Let's not forget, Chelsea's season is a bit of a weird one because their pre-season was completely thrown up in the air because of the Club World Cup. So we don't know how prepared Chelsea are going to be. To have players in that haven't played and have had full pre-seasons and rested in their squad ready to go could benefit Chelsea, because like I said, that they obviously played right into July and then they've had to rest. So effectively their pre-season was done at the back end of the season by playing in the Club World Cup. It's going to be, I said this before, it will be interesting to see how the Club World Cup teams actually fare at the starts of the season, whether these did actually, this is going to actually affect the start of their season, because it is the first time ever that we've had anything like this with the Club World Cup. So maybe Chelsea are looking at Garnacho and saying, well, we need to make sure that we've got some players in right now. We need to make sure that we have got players that are ready to go and are actually going to give us something at the start of the season, because I don't think there's no way that you can get that done with that many games and then have a break and then come back and be ready. It just doesn't work. Preparation will be all over the place. So yeah, I do think that it's going to be a weird one for them, but preparation obviously still has to be as normal as possible. So Romano tweeting about Garnacho, definitely for me anyway, and what he's done before, says that this is getting very, very close now. And of course, when Ornstein says it's advanced, it's going to be close anyway. But yes, all of this in preparation for Manchester United to bring in Carlos Baleba. He wants United. More reports came out last night about Baleba, again, wanting the move to Manchester United. We give you the update last night, which was Baleba and his agent have been informed by Brighton that Manchester United have made their move, and Brighton have told Baleba if Manchester United come in with a reasonable offer, then talks will be held and there is a potential move this summer. It's difficult, and it all comes down to what we talked about at the top of the show. So if you can raise 60 million by loaning Rasmus and selling Garnacho, On top of what we've already done, United can make Baleba happen. Simple as, because Garnacho is pure profit. So when we talk about it costing about 20 million a year in instalments for Baleba, Garnacho, because we don't owe anything, and Garnacho, because obviously he is a homegrown player, would effectively give us the opportunity to slap as much of Garnacho's fee onto the initial fee for, obviously, Brighton and Baleba. Obviously, we've got to calculate in Chelsea's and how they're paying for Garnacho as well. It's like, is Garnacho going to be paid for in instalments? But basically, breaking it down, because we don't owe anything on Garnacho, we can then set up the payment plan for Baleba easily with that money and have that coming in. That pretty much covers. So say, for instance, Chelsea did instalments for Garnacho. That would be coming in every year. Obviously, we can then take that off what we're having to pay out every single year for Baleba. Plus, obviously, what we've just saved this year for Rasmus Hojlund. So you're pretty much saying there, with Garnacho's fee and what we've done so far this summer, you've got 3 years worth of instalments for Baleba pretty much laid out, ready to go. That's where we're at with it. That's how it sort of calculates in. It's not bang on the money with that, but the general sort of look on it, that's how Manchester United will be looking at this potential signing. Don't be put off by the price. Don't be put off by the transfer fee for Baleba, because he's not going to be on big money and he's very young. United have a lot of sell on when it comes to Baleba as well. It would be seen as Manchester United, from Manchester United's side, as a massive investment. So an opportunity to bring in someone like that is something I don't think Manchester United are going to turn down. And just to go over again what I said last night, if you didn't see it, Manchester United need to bring him in this summer, because next summer they'll probably miss out because there's other clubs involved and his price is going to skyrocket even more. So it has to happen this summer for Baleba. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to happen at all. So yeah, that's where we're at with him. All being brought in by the sales of Garnacho, Rasmus and other players that we can actually get out of the football club. Let's get some comments in on this. Mr Dacia Sandero says, Garnacho is a player who is going to destroy his career once he moves away from United. He won't get away from the nonsense he has given us. Get rid of this guy ASAP. A player with masses of potential but a really bad attitude is how we sort of look at Garnacho now. And the fact that he will actually be, I agree with what Mr Daciandero says there. I think he'll be regretting the way that he's conducting himself at Manchester United. I do. I think he will look back with massive regret on what he could have had at Manchester United. He didn't want to work, is how we look at it. And I think that's been proven. And his attitude in so many different occasions, when you look back on it, when he's sold, I think a lot of United fans will probably go, even the ones that love Garnacho, will probably look at it and go, it was the right time. It was the right thing to do in moving Garnacho on. It definitely was. By the way, everybody, if you didn't notice, I have put into the chats there and pinned it up. 95,000 subscribers. Boom, get in there. It went over this morning. So we are now less than 5k from 100,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, everybody. Another 1,000 on the ticker. Let's keep that going. So if you haven't, please hit the subscribe button, everyone. And please do make sure that you get your comments in and like the video. Any input at all into the show is more than welcome. Thank you again, everyone. Almost at the 100k. God, I did not think. We said, could we get to 90,000 before the start of the season? We're at 95k with a week to go, which is completely blown my mind. So thank you, everybody, again. Give the video a like and make sure you hit the subscribe button. We've got other news to get through. Don't forget, everybody, as well. There's lots of news popping up as we speak. I'm just going to get through some bits here that might impact what's happening with Manchester United. Obviously, we spoke about Donnarumma last night and everything that's happening there. PSG director Luis Campos has informed Lucas Chevalier that he will be the starting goalkeeper this season. That has just come out this morning. Does that mean that Donnarumma will be Premier League bound? Don't count it out. Chevalier, he is going to be, and you don't sign a keeper like that unless he's going to be number one. I cannot believe what PSG are doing here. I am baffled by this approach for Donnarumma and what's actually happening. But he's going to be leaving. He is actually going to be leaving. And then I'm thinking, Oh, the unthinkable. I would, I would be moving anybody out right now to make these two deals happen. You think, right, that the three players that we have brought in, and this is going to sound absolutely ludicrous, but hear me out on this: Sesko, Cunha, and Bumo, Baleba and Donnarumma dwarf them. This is how big this could be. Now, I'm not confident United could get him, but why wouldn't you go for that? Why wouldn't you go to get the best? If he's up for it, now let's just make sure, obviously, first of all, let's not get carried away. If Donnarumma wants to come to United, there was a story going about the other day saying that Donnarumma actually loves the stature of Manchester United, would be open to a move to Manchester United because of the history and the whole size of the club and everything like that. One of the biggest clubs in the world, obviously. He would be open to a move to Manchester United. It's whether or not Manchester United would actually go for it or not. Like, the wages would be the biggest stumbling block. I don't think Manchester United would have a problem in spending big money on him. And big money is not even big. It's 30 million for one of the top 5 goalkeepers on the planet right now, in his prime at 26. Like we were saying before about Emi Martinez, like everyone's like, he's 33. We don't want a player on a decline. You are about this. If you're looking at 10s in Mbumo and Cunha and saying they're the best players that you could buy in their prime, Donnarumma is the equivalent in goal. He's a goalkeeper for United for the next 10 years if you sign him now for 30 million. Can you make something happen? Move finances around, sell somebody, move something around to get one of the best that there is out there in your team right now? He is going to be available. This is actually genuine and real. Like, he's not just flirting here to get a better deal out of PSG. They've bought another keeper who's going to be number one, and Donnarumma is now available. This, I think, is massive. And if United could pull this off, because I don't think there's many clubs that Donnarumma would go to. I don't. I think it's limited. And do you know what? Sometimes in transfer windows, opportunities come knocking. And this window could be absolutely huge for Manchester United. It's just a shame that we're going in for Baleba. We might not have enough money to go for him, but there is a story going around there, and there is a potential for that to actually happen. As crazy as it sounds, and I know it seems a million miles away because it's Donnarumma, then honestly, like, just look at the situation and go, all right, they have brought in a keeper who has been told he's going to be number one. One of the best goalkeepers on the planet, who is 26, just won the Champions League and all 3 domestic trophies in Ligue 1 in France, is available for 30 million quid. At that point, you have to start changing things. This is what Sir Alex Ferguson did constantly. When the best players became available, even if they weren't in your plans, you have to be in for them if you're Manchester United. You have to be there. Otherwise you're never going to be able to sustain a challenge at the top. He always said this. We wasn't supposed to buy Robin van Persie when we bought him that summer. The plan was elsewhere. Obviously, Shinji Kagawa had already come in to Manchester United attack. We already had Wayne Rooney there. Chicharito was there. We still had plenty of cover in that area of the pitch. We weren't supposed to buy him, but it came about and there was an opportunity, and Fergie went, we're having him. You cannot cannot turn down the best players. If they're open to coming, of course, if they want to come. Like, the finances, yes, they may seem astronomical, but, and I go back to this, like, Ineos gave Bruno Fernandes that contract. They paid him over 300 grand a week. That's on them. So they are willing to pay for the best if they're going to be consistently in and performing. And Donnarumma is that. I don't care what people say. Like, I would start changing transfer tactics at this point right now if I knew that I could get someone like that in our goal. Would I sacrifice Baleba for Donnarumma? Oh my God. That's a tough one, that right there. I know how badly we need this midfielder. Is there another midfielder out there? In fact, it's just to get into other stories as well on this, and we're going with everything this morning, and I've been looking into all of the news and everything that could potentially happen for Manchester United. But there is another story going around as well, that Manchester United are looking at Stuttgart's midfielder, Angelo Stiller. Now, he is another option if United did not go for Baleba. Is there anyone in the chat that would give up on Baleba? Don't shout, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just putting it out there because there's potential. Would you, I know we could probably get both, I know. But if you knew you could get Donnarumma and you had to sacrifice Baleba and get another midfielder in, would you do it? Oh, fuck, I don't know what to do. This is like where you're torn, isn't it? I love Baleba and I want the midfield sorting. But can I live through another season with Andre Onana in goal for Manchester United? Good God. Oh, and I know United are probably not going to buy another keeper. It's counterproductive to have two first-team keepers. It doesn't work. And this is why PSG are going to be signing Donnarumma. It's exactly the same scenario. You can't have two top keepers both on big money. Like Andre Onana's on around about 150 grand a week now as it is. That's a lot of money to be ploughing into two goalkeepers. Like nearly $500,000 a week on two keepers. I get that, and I get that that probably is not sustainable and not realistic for Manchester United. I can't see that happening on that side of things, but God, he's Donnarumma. Like, you know what I'm saying, don't you? It's a painful one to actually think about and think like you're going to let him go. I just don't. I don't know, man. It's a tough one, and I think it's down to Manchester United. I think we can get both, but I do believe that they're going to have to move. They're going to have to move Andre Onana out to make this happen. I think that's what it is. Keep the likes coming in on the video, everybody. Get your comments in, please. Obviously, make sure that you do. Make sure that you do get as much of your opinion in the live chat as you possibly can. I'm going to get into that now as well. I've just thrown a few big bombs out there that people might not agree with, but. Get into the comment section either way. Let me know what you're thinking. What's wrong with him? No, it smells whiffy in terms of what? Which one was that one? Sorry, mate. Just put the names onto any player in the chat as well. If you're making a comment, please. Just put it across. Another super chat in there from Caceres. Thank you very much, buddy. Shots from outside the box last season. Sesko 25, Garnacho 23. Wonder how many of them were on target. Have you got them other stats, mate? If you can, pop them in there as well, buddy. Another one from Ant. No team ever succeed with a crap midfield ever. No, and all of the top clubs do have top midfields. Is that the priority? Is that what we're saying, people? Is this where Manchester United need to be looking more than the goalkeeping side of things? I'm a big advocate for goalkeepers. They have to be. If you are going to win a league, you need to have a good goalkeeper. I'm sorry. City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, great midfields. But why are Chelsea fourth? Shite goalkeeper. Chelsea is the worry for me. If they get Donnarumma, they should be looking at challenging. They really should. It's crazy, isn't it? Graham says, Baleba priority must come before Donnarumma. Yep, I get it. I do. I honestly do. I'm just throwing it out there because it's like, it's a crazy situation. A pleasant one. Like, I'm happy to be talking about situations and problems like this in a transfer window rather than what we've been dealing with in past years, 100%. But yes, I do think that United right now are in a position where we are looking at, I feel, potentially the best summer that we have ever had at the football club. That's genuine. That is real, by the way. I'm not just saying that, I'm throwing that out there. I think this is and could be the best summer transfer window that Manchester United have had in the history of the football club. Obviously, we've only had transfer windows for a certain amount of years, so that obviously takes out previous years when you'll be able to buy players whenever you wanted throughout a season. But since the transfer windows have been open, i.e. January and the summer, and we've had the deadlines, this at the moment, if we get Baleba, honestly, if we get Baleba, then it is already the best that we've ever had. I don't care. If you get Donnarumma, I don't think it'll be surpassed ever. That's how big it's been. That's how good it's actually been. Can we pull a Madrid and ask Donnarumma to wait a year and sign him as a free agent? Onana has said no to moves this window already. Look, at the end of the day, like Onana, Rasmus Hojlund, they don't want to go. Can the club afford to be dictated to by the player? Can the club move them players on? Even if you loaned Andre Onana out, and someone took him elsewhere. Get him out the club so you can sell him again next summer. Make room. That's what we've got to do. You've got to make the room for the players to come in. And I do think that Manchester United have got the capabilities of doing this summer. It's whether they want to do it or not. It's like, can they spend this much money in one window and get away with it? If you are bringing in these types of players, though, you are setting a standard here, and you are saying that you are challenging for the champ. You're going for top 4. You bring in players like this, Baleba and Donnarumma, with what we've already got in the front 3, and then you're looking at challenging easily. You'd expect to be in the top 4. There's no excuse not to be, and that's the pressure that I've said before that's going to be on Ruben Amorim. Let's get a few more comments in. We cannot afford to leak goals like we did last season. Otherwise, the front 3 are under too much pressure to maybe keep digging us out of trouble. That's from Tim there, says that one. And also says, you can't accommodate a bad keeper as long as the rest of your team is excellent, but you can't accommodate a crap midfield. Honestly, I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, but Andre Onana, it can affect the defence as well, and you cannot win anything without a proper backline. And I don't think that defence is confident with Andre Onana behind them. And that's how it comes across. I just don't think that it is doable. Daniel says, we all know Baleba wants United, but if Donnarumma is interested, go get him. I think both are feasible in the squad. Squad is... All right, if the squad is effed off, AFCON ensures a need for at least a capable backup. Donnarumma is backup to Onana. I know you're not saying that, Daniel, but that just popped in my head then. That would be a funny scenario, wouldn't it? You Can't Compete says that we can survive with the midfield. We have a need for a better goalkeeper. So many different opinions on this one. It's definitely split. It's definitely split the fan base, I feel, in the needs. Like, everyone will look at football and look at Manchester United's team as in a different way, completely different way. And it's hard to get the balance right for what the need is. Like, we are going through 3 different sections of our team. We needed the keeper, we need the midfield, we needed the forward line. We've got the forward line. We've got the defence. I feel we're strong in defence still. The midfield and keeper is now where we're debating. We've got 2 sections of the team now. So it's getting closer, and at least we're moving in the right direction. And United are clearly looking at this like everybody else is from the outside and within the fan base. Like, we know what we need. We know what we're watching. You cannot kid the fan base. Everybody's watching the same team, and the ineptitude within it, season in, season out. We are changing that this season. So, and they're seeing where the changes are necessary, and they're getting on with it, and they're getting deals done. It's been fantastic to watch United operate this summer. It really has. Patience and absolute clinicalness in making transfers. And it is hopefully a sign of what is to come in the future as well. But the best thing is they have recognised where United have failed on the pitch. And all that talk that everyone passed off and made the fun out of with both Berardi saying that we had a plan, we're going to implement that plan, there was options with or without the Champions League, we still know what we can do and we're going to do it. And then all of a sudden you do what we've done this summer, and you're like, he was actually right. He actually backed it up. That's something that we've not been used to before as a fan base. I think the only way to shift Onana is by benching him and maybe selling him and bringing in a replacement in January or next summer. We can't afford to pay Onana and someone like Donnarumma. I get that comment as well, I do. Graham with a super chat again, thank you Graham. Donnarumma tends to agree a short-term 3-year deals. I'm amenable to that at 200k per week. I don't think he's going to agree to 200k. I'm pretty certain he won't, but never say never. You never know what could happen in the transfer window. Again, like what's happened this summer has been prime example of what Manchester United could do, and without Champions League football, after the way that we finished last season as well, it's been mind-blowing, hasn't it? It really has. Just to go over the top stories again, everybody, Manchester United are looking to potentially move Rasmus Hojlund out on loan with a hefty loan fee. Reports came out late last night of this deal possibly being in the works with Milan. They don't want to buy Rasmus Hojlund, who United value at 40 million. differing reports on that. Like we said, there's been a 30 million report, there's been a 40 million report. So yeah, a few differing ones regarding the actual value of Rasmus Hojlund, but they are definitely looking, like ROMANO also said last night, to move Rasmus Hojlund on. Discussions actually going on now as to how they do make room for Benjamin Sesko. He's already in and Rasmus can stay, but look, there's too much talk about Rasmus leaving. I think we have to accept that he is going to be going, and that money is going to go towards bringing in a midfielder alongside Garnacho leaving, which Romano said is definitely on the cards now alongside Ornstein. We are now at the point where we're waiting for Chelsea's bid. That's how far down the deal is. Romano retweeting stuff about Garnacho, Ornstein saying it's advanced. I think this one now, we could be seeing some action on this the next couple of days. Maybe even today we find out something about Garnacho, because all of the big guns are talking about it. United want 50 million and that's it. They're not going to go for anything less. If Chelsea come in, they're going to have to be paying that. And obviously United would use the other side, the other sales this summer, other transfers this summer as the yardstick to what the valuation is for Alejandro Garnacho. So that's where United are at, and that is where they're going to stand firm. So let's see how that develops now. Maybe we get a little bit of negotiations and a little mini saga from now to the end of the window, because United are fully prepared to not let these players go if they can't get the fee that they want. Like Ruben said, there has been a different change in stance with Manchester United on all transfers in and out this summer. At Rashford, obviously, they dealt with that quite quickly. Now Garnacho and Rasmus, then we'll see what happens with Sancho, Malacia and Anthony next. It is going to be one hell of a last few weeks as well. By the way, just a quick one, if you're wondering why we're talking about Donnarumma, new goalkeeper that has been brought in, has been told, that being Lucas Chevalier from Lille, has been told that he is going to be PSG's #1 goalkeeper next season. And Donnarumma is available for transfer. Who is going to take him? He's going to be on the market. You don't keep Donnarumma on the sidelines on the money that he's on unless they are wealthy, I know that, but Donnarumma isn't going to be a bench player for anybody. He's a #1 goalkeeper without a shadow of a doubt. That talk is going to continue. It is. And obviously, Benjamin Sesko is Manchester United player today. He's in early. He wanted to get the deal done. Obviously, we talked about it last night. Benjamin Sesko took the opportunity to fly to Manchester last night. He's now in early at Carrington this morning to do his medical. The new Carrington, which is being unveiled today as well. So the first player to come in and do his medical and sign for United in the new training facility that is being unveiled today. So wait for pictures of that. They will be spread all over social media and throughout the mainstream media today. So that's going to be exciting. Pictures of Benjamin Sesko arriving at Carrington will be all over the internet, probably by 10 o'clock today. I'm guessing everything will be done, wrapped up. He wanted to do it so he could be unveiled in front of the Old Trafford crowd tomorrow in the game against Fiorentina. So many different things to look forward to for that game. The return of David De Gea, the unveiling of Benjamin Sesko, and Matthias Cunha and Brian Mbeumo also on that pitch there in front of the crowd for the first time as well. There is so much excitement going around Manchester United right now and so much going on. It's hard to pinpoint one positive because there's so many of them. But look, it does look like this is going to be now from this point forward mainly about the outgoings before anything else happens on the incoming side of things. Baleba is there. He wants Manchester United. It's been made very clear. It has now been proven that he is a Manchester United fan as well. I think some people did some digging last night, so that's been brought up as well in all of this. And he knows that being told by Brighton, if Manchester United come in with a reasonable offer, then talks will start. It's going to go right to the wire. Don't expect this to be done anything like what we did with Benjamin. This is going to be a deadline day deal for Manchester United. It will be a record deal for Manchester United if we sign Baleba. That is a guarantee with the fees that Brighton are holding out for. I think United can get it in at around 90 million. I think that's their hope. They want it to be about 70, but they know that they're not going to get the player for that price. You only have to look at what Brighton have done before in the market and how well they've done in recouping money for their players. Caicedo, I used as the example yesterday. It is a Caicedo 2.0 this. A player brought in for cheap money that they are just going to sell on for a fortune. And yeah, Baleba hopefully will be a Manchester United player by the time this summer transfer window finishes. Because like we said before, it is only going to happen this summer for Manchester United. Other than that, otherwise, it's not going to happen. It isn't going to happen. I think other clubs will come in as well. Let's just check through all the news before we actually finish and make sure that everything is covered. Bear with me 1 second. Just checking through everything now. Fabrizio Romano, Alejandro Garnacho has agreed every detail on personal terms with Chelsea. Deal done on the player side. He only wants Chelsea, as revealed here, since July. Talks with United about the fee will follow soon. So yes, another update from Romano this morning on Garnacho. He was, I said, alluding to it last night with that tweet. I said, keep an eye on it. He retweeted a previous one that he posted on the 3rd of August about Garnacho in talks at the early stages. Garnacho has now agreed to join Chelsea. The personal terms are in, and this is now going to move forward quite quickly. It is now time for club-to-club talks with United and Chelsea. We are in the final stages. Like Ornstein said yesterday, Garnacho has, according to Fabrizio Romano, to finish up the show today, agreed to join Chelsea. Personal terms are in the bag. It is now up to the fee and what Manchester United can agree with the Blues. That's it. That's what we'll wrap up the show with. If anything breaks on Garnacho throughout the day, I will be all over it. Obviously, I'll be keeping an eye on that now to see if anything comes of it. But that is your breaking news as we finish today. Garnacho has agreed personal terms with Chelsea. He is the next one out. It's up for United now to get the deal with Chelsea. Rasmus Hojlund could be leaving on loan to AC Milan. Donnarumma is a possibility now that he's number 2 at PSG. And Manchester United are about to announce the signing of Benjamin Sesko today, alongside Carrington being reopened, state-of-the-art, all bells and whistles, training facilities. That's all coming on your screens today as well. So I'll keep you up to date with everything that's happening. Give the video a like. Please join the many that have already subscribed as well. We hit 95,000 earlier on this morning, so thank you again, everyone. But for now, that is it. You are fully updated. I'll be back later on with anything as it breaks. As